Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, the 9th of March. It's a reasonably warm day, so I am back in the reading nook with parcel and a cup of tea. And this one you'll have seen before because I've already opened it and I've begun delving into it bit by bit. If you've seen the videos before, you'll see me pull out the print-on-demand reprints from Chaosium of RuneQuest II or RuneQuest Classic titles. So RuneQuest Bestiary, Troll Pack, Griffin Mountain, so we've got two, Parvis, and last time it was Big Rebel. So, not too far to go now. No. But the next one we have is RuneQuest Borderlands. Now, like Troll Pack and Parvis and Big Rebel, this came out as a box set originally. What Chaosium has done is taken the content, worked it into one book, and made it available as print on demand. So this is a 163-page book. You've got a complete campaign, RuneQuest campaign in 7 scenarios, basically set during the classic period between sort of 1610 to 16 in the timeline, whereas the current RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha timeline has moved on to 1625. So, RuneQuest Borderlands, a RuneQuest campaign in 7 scenarios. You bet a lot when you left your home and went adventuring. You could hold your own with a sword and you knew your way around some of the not so nice local hotspots. But you weren't prepared to be called stranger, and you'd never actually seen a troll. You skirmished and fought pitched battles. Your skills and confidence grew. Now the jobs for hired swords are few, and though you're still hungry for glory and riches and honour, right now you'd settle for a meal. Fortunately, good men are needed to help civilise a new domain. That may mean steady meals and reliable friends for a hungry, lonely mercenary. 7 scenarios of varying complexity will test his skills and wits and his abilities to fight, guard, investigate and explore. His abilities to fight, guard, investigate and explore will be crucial to his success. If he survives, he will be well seasoned and ready for anything in Glorantha. Prax is a wilderness. Duke Rouse is out to tame a corner of it for himself. Join him at Fort Roan and earn fame and fortune by completing the 7 deadly missions he has for you. Great rewards, perhaps even the Roan sword itself, are yours for the taking. This campaign scenario pack provides everything needed to referee a RuneQuest campaign along the River of Cradles, a fertile valley separating the devastation of Vulture's country and the wretched chaparral of Prax. The campaign is intended for intermediately skilled characters. Background, history and regional details are included. The employer, the different tribal peoples in the area, the creatures and monsters, ducks to dinosaurs, whirl of fishes, to race, and area-specific magic items. The range of encounters is sizable, including the deadly eternal battle, a time-warped holdover from the God's War. So, essentially, mercenaries earn their pay in Prax. So this is really kind of suitable for almost any characters, and what it opens up with is you have essentially it's made up of 3 sections. You've got the referee's handbook, 7 scenarios, and an encounter book, essentially you have a description of what's in the book, a foreword, and a classic edition foreword. So there we go. So essentially what you've got is an introduction to the original edition, again box set, and then an introduction to this version. And the thing is, what is missing from this edition are the maps, by which I mean the fold-up maps, poster maps you can use to reference. They're available to purchase. In the meantime, you have maps such as this. So that'll do. That's enough for you to get started. You don't need the poster map. It's nice to have, but you don't actually have to have it. This, you quickly go into an overview of the campaign. So you have the scenarios, Basically, each adventure is prepared as a hard-keyed scenario, one in which the data and statistics are prepared ahead of time, in which intend to be played out as given without any modification for the relative size or the strength of the player party. Referees should change what they want, modifying scenarios to fit the needs of their party. The referee should not be forced into a mould. Each scenario takes one or more sessions to play. After they're over, the characters will either settle down, contented mercenaries in the service of their lord, or else move on to further challenges. And essentially you've got a description of the plots, scouting the land, outlaw hunt, Jezra's rescue, revenge of Moriah, Five Eyes Temple, Condor Crags to Giant Land, again each of these are the 7 scenarios, and will pull the players and their characters deeper into the setting. There's a subplot going on as well, and then you quickly go into history of the region, from God time through to the creating of lunar settlements and the coming of the Third Age with the Lunar Empire and the civilization of the Valley. A description of the region, and then you come on to essentially the core characters, Varna, Rouse and Jezra, illustrated there. They're basically the patrons for the player characters, I'm going to presume. On first reading, obviously the Duke is, and at some point Jezra needs to be rescued. And what's interesting here is that this is a campaign which can be played by 2 groups of players combined. So you have the Lightbringers, essentially the classic Sartorites, so all Anthem and Elder worshippers, Humac worshippers, Stormborn worshippers, etc. But you can also have characters who are lunar. The lunar characters will come in here because they've heard of the quick riches and easy adventures on the desolate spots. Lightbringers will basically come to the region because they want to escape the oppression they have in their own home country of Sartar and Tarsh, and to an extent the Holy Country as well, because of the lunar expansions south through Dragon Pass, which basically play out through the 1610s and into the 1620s. And then we go on to basically you have a basically contract. Again, that's almost like a player handout, and if you were doing it properly, essentially you would present that to each of the player characters and get them to sign it in character. And we go on to the pupils of the campaign, which covers basically Agimori, one of the tribes of Prex, deals with the brew, and the Morokanth. Some really fantastic illustrations in here. And yeah, this again, basically Tusk Riders, and this is an illustration which has sort of like appeared again and again as a classic illustration of the Tusk Rider. So I mean, essentially, you've got a description of the treasures as well, and one of the things about this is it continues the focus of classic RuneQuest or RuneQuest II material upon the eastern side of the setting, away from Sartar and the conflict with the Lunar Empire. It's the city setting of Parvis and the Big Rubble, and this area to the just about to the north, along the River of Cradles. We have basically a description of the treasures, and then a brief bestiary of the dinosaurs to be found in the region, so on, and then basically spirit cult as well, cult the river horse, the frog woman cult. These are all minor cults for the region, and you have, let's have a look, classic on the classic RuneQuest II map there, with Parvis and the big rebel. So just there. And then we go on to the 7 scenarios themselves. Again, teach you in basically this is quite a short scenario, just a few days, and then they get longer and longer. And interesting that the scenario 2 is an outlaw hunt, and the outlaws are ducks, and that's the Lunars do not like the ducks, and famously the ducks really hate the Lunars because at some point they have been kidnapped. So the scenarios get longer and longer and more complex. As we go along. So this is a campaign, I mean, sort of slightly separate to the to what's going on elsewhere. You could easily sort of like just start it with moderate experienced characters, and in some ways the characters you probably create using RuneQuest role-playing Glorantha could start playing this, because effectively when they enter play they've had 5 years of experience. They have skills, a couple of skills, usually a weapon skill at least of sort of like 80 to 90%. They have high rune stats and so on. They have rune magic, so they would count as basically moderately experienced characters, because you've got to remember that when you started playing RuneQuest II or RuneQuest Classic, you had skills of sort of like 30 to 40, maybe 50% if you were lucky, and you owed money for actually have undertaken that training. So yeah, that would keep you busy. Again, we have basically a temple map, and again this is sort of like the artwork. You'll recognise the kind of style of this from Chaosium of the early 80s, of the period right through to the 90s, it has to be said, because the artwork would the cartography and the cartographic style would appear in Call of Cthulhu as well. So yeah, this will keep your characters pretty busy. And then lastly we go on to essentially encounters. Basically it's a book of ready to face or encounter monsters and NPCs. So yeah, everything that the GM will need, whether that's the local Agramori, members of the local Agramori tribe, the Morocants, Brew, Newtlings, Rhino Riders, and so on. The other thing that this, what you can do with this, of course, is take inspiration from cults of Prax for their characters' cults and so on. So if you focus primarily on Stormbull and Waha and Eritha as the most common cults, then thematically that would fit. And it's not to say that you couldn't bring in characters from other cults. Please don't think I'm saying that. That's an obvious one way to do it. Take characters who are from Prax and take them up into this area and play the Borderlands campaign, as well as potentially mixing and matching the characters, whether they're Lunars and devotees of the Seven Mothers, or they are worshippers of Orlanth or any one of his brothers, and the same again with Imelda, her sisters and daughters. So that's Borderlands. Campaign is 7 parts, which the referee Game Master could easily add content to. There are at least a couple of scenarios on the Johnstown Compendium that you could add to that are set in Prax and would work with this, as well as more generic scenarios that would work also. I mean, even my own Jorthan's Rescue would even work it. Jorthan's Rescue Redux would work well with Borderlands. Anyway, that's the Borderlands campaign, available direct from Chaosium as a print-on-demand book. It's a very nicely scanned, represented book. It means you don't have to scour eBay or the internet for a reprint, basically an old copy of the box set. Although in some ways, I mean, the point is that in some ways, because you have everything in the constituent parts, you have the 3 booklets and the maps, that version is going to be possibly slightly more easier to use, because you've got 3 books to refer to rather than flipping back and forth. But you have everything you need here. You don't have to go and get that version again if you find that version if you don't want to. You've got it available in print direct from Chaosium right now. And the conversion work to this would be relatively easy. It's really a case of deciding upon the passions and the rune and the rune basically affiliation values. So that's Borderlands, a RuneQuest campaign in 7 scenarios, which originally came out in 1982. As I promised, basically another unboxing of a gaming product rather than something else. But if you've enjoyed this unboxing, please do click the like button down below. If you've got feedback or comments, I'd love to hear from you. And lastly, if you want to see more of these unboxings, I will be coming back out into the garden with my cup of tea and doing more of them. Please do subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back very soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.